Today we are going to be discussing phone anxiety. Phone anxiety is a real common phobia and fear when it comes to having conversations on the phone and dealing with telephone calls. For those people that do suffer from phone anxiety, it can be really debilitating and it can also be incredibly isolating. Anyone who knows the feeling that comes with anxiety and fear should be able to understand the feelings that those people that do have phone anxiety get around having phone anxiety. So it's really important that we are understanding and patient with those who do have an issue when it comes to speaking on the telephone. So what exactly is phone anxiety? Phone anxiety is reluctance or fear of making or taking phone calls. It is considered to be a type of social phobia or social anxiety. It may be compared to glossophobia in that both arise from having to engage with an audience and the associated fear of being criticised, judged or made a fool of. In 1993, it was reported that about 2.5 million people in Great Britain had telephone phobia. If you feel extreme anxiety before or after interacting over the phone, you may indeed have a phobia. Some emotional symptoms of phone anxiety may include avoiding making calls or having others call you, delays in making or answering phone calls, obsessing about what was said after the calls, stress about embarrassing yourself, worrying about bothering the other person, and worrying about what you will say. Physical symptoms of phone anxiety may include an increased heart rate, nausea, shaking, or trouble concentrating. Often, much like any anxiety, we begin avoidance behaviours. This seems like a logical approach, as if we don't do something, we can't be afraid of it. However, unfortunately, the more we avoid things, the worse the anxiety is likely to get, especially if we one day need to make an emergency phone call. A feeling of apprehension will build because, after all, we've nailed thus far the art of avoidance. So what practical things can we do to help with phone anxiety? The first step, and one you are already doing by watching this video, is acknowledging that you have anxiety when it comes to talking on the phone. So by just being here, you have taken a step in the right direction. The next step is to use the worry journal. I discussed this in episode 1 of this series. You take the worry journal and make a list of who and what causes you the most anxiety on the phone. Is it everyone and anyone? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it unsolicited calls? Is it your boss or colleagues from work maybe? The reason it's a good idea to do this is you will slowly be able to unpick what is causing the feelings of anxiety. This leads us on to step 3. On each of the sections where you actively place them into groups, i.e. family, friends, work, etc., you can begin writing what it is that causes the fault based around speaking on the phone to these people. This might be, I think they will judge me. I don't know how to wrap up a call. They might think I'm rude. They might ask me something I don't know the answer to. Next, and this is where pushing boundaries comes in, it's advised that you test your thoughts. We can do this by making a call. Start by just holding the phone and dialing an automated service. Nobody is on the other line, it's just someone telling you information that is automated. Build up on this to maybe call in a library, for example, and ask them, what time do you close? Each time you do these, we go back to our worry journal and write what we are going to be doing and the thoughts associated. For example, I'm going to be calling an automated line. I am worried because what if X, Y or Z happens? Then once you've done this and made the call, write down what actually happened. These will be the facts. For example, I called and they told me the information I needed via a voice machine. It's entirely likely that the worst case scenario you imagined didn't actually take place. The last thing to do is build up to making a phone call. It doesn't have to be long, it could only be 2 minutes, and utilise the worry journal here by recognising the practice calls that you've made and the outcomes. In the very unlikely event that our worst fears do happen, then it's important to balance this with, Could it be that the person on the phone may be having a bad day? What is the likelihood of it happening again? Even if it did happen again, I encourage you to focus on the fact that you pushed a boundary today and you won't allow one person to set you back. Be proud of yourself every time you push a boundary, no matter how big or small. It's a difficult thing to do, so always remember that any step forward is a step in the right direction. I'm rooting for you, angels, and I am so proud of you for pushing boundaries with Hayley's help. I love you lots, and until next time, take care.